Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing a getting ready with me video, and it's also going to be a Q&A. I reached out and asked you guys what questions you'd like for me to answer on camera. So today I'm going to be sharing my responses, letting you guys get to know me a little bit better while we hang out and play with some makeup. Now, I've been hearing a lot of feedback lately that you guys would like to see more love to older products as opposed to just always talking about things that are new, which I entirely understand. So we're going to be using products from my everyday makeup drawer, like we'll shop my stash series. So these are all products that I picked out to use in the month of February. Many of them are things that I've had on hand in my collection for quite a while now. Some of them are a little bit newer to me, but hopefully it will be fun to see these products in action and just to hang out and chat for a while. If you guys end up liking this video, I would love to do this every single month with the products I've picked out in my everyday makeup drawer. So definitely let me know in the comment section down below if that's something you would like to see. And yeah, I have a feeling this video is gonna be a long one, so grab your snack, grab your drink, get your makeup if you wanna come hang out and do yours with me, and let's get into it. So I really want the focus of this video to be answering your questions, so I'm not going to be focusing too much on what I'm doing, but I will try to share the products that I'm using along the way. So I'm going to start out by priming my face with my little sample here of the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. I actually really like this stuff. It's expensive as heck, but it really does like smooth out your skin and blur pores. It's not like super mattifying, but I feel like for special occasions, it can really make my foundation lay nicely, so gonna be using this today. So the first question is, do you work outside of YouTube/blogging, or is this your full-time gig? Just curious. While I'm answering that, I'm gonna put on my foundation. I'm gonna be using my ColourPop No Filter mixed with my BareMinerals BarePro. I've talked about this cocktail a lot. I think it looks really, really nice on the skin. So the fact of the matter is that I would love to be doing YouTube full-time, but I don't make enough money from YouTube to actually constitute like a full-time income. I wish that I did, but I feel like you kind of need the viewership of somewhere in the, I don't know, like close to 100,000 followers, I feel like, to be making substantial money from YouTubing and blogging, and that is very, very far away from where I am right now. So really, like, my channel is more of like, I try to treat it like I treat a job, but income-wise, it's more like a hobby. So it's something that I have been investing a lot of hours in, but I do need to work and do other stuff to support myself. I've been really fortunate that my husband works full-time. We don't have any kids, or we're not planning on having kids. So basically, he is able to support us on his income regardless, as mine has been kind of fluctuating since I quit my 9 to 5, or I should say 8 to 5 day job. So if you are relatively new to my channel and don't really know my story, essentially I used to work for an OBGYN office. I did that for like 8 years full time. I was blogging and doing YouTube while I had that job, and basically it was like every free hour that I had on weeknights and on weekends, I spent blogging. So I didn't really have any other hobbies, and I mean, I made time for friends and for my husband, but like, it was very exhausting, and I also didn't love what I was doing, so I decided I needed to switch things up. My degree is in psychology and human development and family studies, so I decided to enroll in a program to get certified as a professional coach so that I could ultimately pursue that as a new career, because coaching is much more self-driven and flexible. You're creating your own schedule, so that was something I could also do while doing YouTube and make extra money and not be stuck in an office all day. Gonna go in with my Tarte Shape Tape to conceal under my eyes. For a while, things were a little bit weird because I was doing some coaching, but I didn't really have a steady client base lined up because that just takes time to develop. And I guess technically when I quit my job, I hadn't gotten my certification yet. I was still in the middle of my program, and I had a lot of work to do to finish that and like take my exam essentially to get officially certified. So it wasn't until the spring of 2018 that I was actually a certified life coach. I had stopped working in June of the previous year. Things were a little crazy in there for a while, like financially, but I had also planned for it. I kind of saved up money knowing that I wanted to quit my job so that way I would not be able to pay my bills. And then I essentially was able to network, come across some other opportunities. So I started doing some like leadership consulting, some HR consulting, other things like that. So that's what I've been doing basically along with coaching, along with YouTube to kind of supplement my income. I'm gonna be setting my face with the new Fenty Pro Filtr powder. I just picked this up recently and I've been very excited to try it out. This powder smells like cupcakes. It smells really delicious and it's very mattifying on the skin. I do think it looks pretty nice, but I definitely need to use it more before I feel like I know my full thoughts on it. Anyway, so the short version is, yes, I do other things on top of doing YouTube, but right now at this very instant, I am kind of feeling I have newfound freedom because I quit one of the consulting positions that I had with a company, or I guess it was technically two companies that I was working for. I just wasn't super happy with what I was doing. I didn't really feel like it was a good fit between me and the CEOs. So I said, sayonara, guys. And that means right now I have newfound time to focus on YouTube. So I definitely need to consider my financial situation. Unless I start making a lot more money from my blog, I definitely need to find something else while I'm still, really building up my coaching business. But yeah, right now at this very moment, I have kind of the feeling like I can treat YouTube like my full-time job, but I'm not making money like it's my full-time job. So the next question is, why did you start blogging? I'm also just gonna start contouring my face with my Makeup Forever Artist Sculpting Powder in S112. While I tell you the answer to that. So I have pretty much been a makeup lover for my entire life. If you look back at stuff I drew when I was like 8 years old, I was drawing faces of people and coloring in makeup on them because I had a fascination with it from a very early age. I did dance briefly when I was in elementary school. I think the first time I took a dance class, I was 3. I did tap. And my mom let me keep the little play makeup that I had. It was a little eyeshadow palette that was what I was allowed to wear for recitals. And she didn't really care if I just played around with that. My mom is a very girly girl. She always wears makeup still every day, does her hair, does her makeup. So I just think I always was a little bit fascinated by it. And so as I got older, I just got really into it. I've also always been a really artistic person. I love to craft. I love to draw. I love to paint. I haven't done as much of it in the last decade, I would say, as I did when I was younger. When I was in high school, I took literally almost every single art class that I could take. I took watercolor painting, oil painting, pottery, I took ceramics, I took photography, I took drawing. So whatever I could do that was artistic, that was where my heart lied. And I think makeup for me is just an extension of that. I love the artistry of it. I love colors. I love textures. I love the way that you can essentially sculpt your face and make it look a particular way. I've never really gotten into SFX makeup, but I think it's really cool. So I just had a passion for it, and I wanted an outlet to be able to share my love of beauty with other people. I'm gonna blush up with my Dose of Colors Blush Like You Mint It in the shade StateMint. This was a limited edition product that I think is super pretty. And on top of all of this, so I had acne when I was a teenager. My skin broke out pretty bad, and I think it was hormonal because I had horrible periods, just awful. They lasted 2.5 weeks, super heavy, wicked bad cramps. I'd have to stay home from school sometimes because I'd be in just too much pain. It was not a good situation, and I had bad breakouts as a result of that as well. So I had an almost obsession with learning about skincare and products that would help my skin, and I still have actually the book I bought when I was a teenager that was written by a beauty editor, and it's this big thick book called Beauty, and it talks about how to read bottles and look at ingredients and just everything about formulations and application and all these things in the beauty world, from hair to skin to makeup. And I read that thing religiously, and I just got really into testing and trying products and seeing what actually worked, because as a teenager with oily skin, with breakouts, I tried everything to make my skin clear up, including going to a dermatologist and being put on like every prescription but Accutane. And I just felt like I quickly realized that products that are marketed towards oily skin and acne aren't necessarily the best thing for you. They're super, super drying, and like they just can suck all the life out of your skin, exacerbate breakouts. So I got very fixated on being like the detective of trying things, of basically not paying attention to marketing and reading labels, looking at ingredients and saying what is actually good, what actually works, and just like experimenting. And I feel like since I started doing that, I learned a lot. I found a lot of things that worked way better for me than just kind of falling into advertising hype. And again, that I think really fueled my desire to blog, to like share what I had found and what I had learned with other people. I'm gonna highlight with my Mary Lou-Manizer. This is such an OG favorite product, and actually it's relatively new to my collection, but this is such an underappreciated highlight nowadays. I feel like everyone's all about the new, but this guy is so good, even though it's been around for a long time. It's worth taking a look at. So essentially, I started my blog in 2013, right around the time that I bought myself a digital SLR camera. Now, having taken photography in high school, like I loved taking pictures. Again, I was pretty artsy, so I didn't want to start a blog unless I knew I could take decent pictures for it. And it's funny now because looking back at the quality of my pictures in 2013, they weren't that great. I did not know how to edit like really at all. I've learned a lot about Photoshop since then. But yeah, basically once I felt like I had equipment that I could create a semi-professional blog with, I just went for it. I did that for a few years, not super consistently, and then I decided to really start on YouTube in like 2016, but again, not super consistently. I would say that I didn't really start taking things more seriously until like fall of 2016, I would say. That was the first time I went to Generation Beauty, I believe, and like having the opportunity to meet brands really motivated me to get my act together. And since then, I feel like I've been much more committed and serious to putting out regular content, pushing myself to improve the quality of my videos and my pictures and all that kind of stuff. And I feel pretty good about the work I've done since then. I'm continually growing, and I don't know, I feel like I'm in a good place, and I'm excited to see where things continue to go. I'm gonna prime my eyes with my NARS Smudge Proof eyeshadow base. So next question is, what are your thoughts on clean beauty? So this is a good one, and I feel like related to what I was just talking about. So obviously, being someone that kind of became an ingredient nerd, I definitely feel the pull towards clean beauty. I've never made the plunge to go 100% green, that is for sure. It's something when I first thought about starting blogging, about doing, like I've definitely considered whether or not I want to go cruelty free, whether or not I want to go all green with my makeup and skincare, and I ultimately decided that I wanted to create content that could reach a wide variety of people, because in the end, so much of beauty is dependent on your preferences, on your budget, on, your skin type, etc. And I wanted to be able to talk about drugstore products and affordable things as well as luxury. And I try to focus or highlight cleaner brands when I can. I like to point out when brands use cleaner ingredients and when brands are cruelty free. And I know that I don't just exclusively use those kinds of products, but whenever I have the opportunity to promote those kinds of brands, I like to try to choose to do so. If I can find a cleaner version of a product that works really well, I'm almost always going to choose the cleaner version over the less clean version. And in the end, I think what it really comes down to is just that every little bit helps. Any energy you can put out there towards a cause that you believe in is good energy, and that's kind of been my philosophy. So I definitely think cleaner beauty products and paying attention to what's in your skincare, your makeup, your hair care is important. And I definitely will continue to try to tell you guys about cleaner options when I hear about them. Like Brooklyn Botany, for example, a brand that's very small, indie, I just heard about, and they are completely clean. They only use really great natural ingredients in their products. And I think they're awesome. Nobody's really talking about them. I have no affiliate relationship with them. I get no benefit by talking about them, but I think that they're awesome, and therefore I want you guys to know about them because I think they make great quality products at a good price, and you guys should know about it. So for my eyes, I'm going to be using my Huda new nude palette today. I feel like this is very Valentine's-y. It's got all those pretty pinky mauvey tones, so I really wanted to bust this guy out this month. So I think this is a good segue into the next question, which is, how do you feel about sponsored content and YouTuber collabs with brands? I feel like I could do an entire video just on this topic because there's a lot to be said about it, but I'll try to sum up my feelings relatively concisely. So as someone that makes content out here on the internet, I have absolutely zero problem with sponsorships, with affiliate links and codes, and basically anything that allows a influencer or beauty blogger to make money off of the work that they do. Something that I think people that don't do this on a regular basis, it's hard for them to realize, probably just because it's not your day-to-day life, but creating content, creating videos, blog posts, even Instagram posts is a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of energy. And even if it's something that you're passionate about and that you love and you want to just do it as a hobby, it's still, again, a lot of time and a lot of work. And if you want to make it a job, it's not easy to make money off of doing this. AdSense pays you essentially fractions of a penny per view. So to make real money, real livable money off of doing YouTube, you have to have a really solid viewership. You have to be getting a lot of views. And I think that there are people that aren't quite there yet, but that put out really great quality content and deserve to be compensated in some respect for their efforts, because brands are making money off of the content that they're creating. Like someone like myself, if I come here and I tell you guys about a product and then you guys go out and buy it, that brand is making money off of your purchase. And I don't think that it's necessarily a good thing to let the money influence your integrity in a negative way. I think that in this industry, you have to really be disciplined to not be swayed or tempted by the thought of making money. Because I think the biggest complaint from most people that watch YouTube videos and read blog posts is that how do I know if this person is being honest, if they're just saying this product is good because they want to make money off of their post. If people go and buy the product, there's an affiliate link or there's some kind of sponsorship arrangement or something like that, it incentivizes them to say something good about the product, so that way people will go out and buy it and they'll make money. But my whole thing has always been, you guys are not stupid. You guys are smart people. You have discretion. And if I basically go around saying things are awesome that are actually garbage, you're going to learn that very quickly. And there would be very little reason for you to trust me after that. And I feel like trust and integrity is literally everything in this industry. If you actually care about beauty, you care about makeup, and you care about people's experiences and you want to help people, then having a trusting relationship with your audience is number one. Totally just realized I didn't put on my eyebrows because I'm distracted by talking. So I'm gonna actually put this down for a second because I don't want to do any more of my eyes until I put my brows on. So ultimately, I think that if a person takes the time, whether they get sent a product for free or they go out and buy it with their own money, if you take the time to test a product out thoroughly and you take the time to create a video, create a blog post, and share it with the world, sharing your thoughts, I don't think there's anything wrong with people being compensated for their time and for their work. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna have to practice doing these whole getting ready with me things, because talking and trying to apply your makeup at the same time and not lose track of things way harder than it seems. It's funny because I'm someone that, so I really enjoy ASMR videos. I have anxiety and I have found it to be tremendously helpful to me when I need to kind of shut my brain off and relax, especially if I'm having trouble sleeping or something like that. And in that community, sponsorships are seen so differently. Using my Kaja brow blowout BT dubs. Whenever someone gets a sponsorship, it's a big thing to be celebrated and their audience is super happy for them. Mostly then the creator can turn off ads, because if you've ever watched ASMR, the worst thing ever is to have a really loud ad just scream in your ear when you're trying to watch something that's super quiet and meditative. But most people, I feel that consume those kind of videos understand that the people making that content for them, deserve to make a living. They work hard doing what they're doing, and AdSense is not a consistent form of income. And, you know, it's just one of those things that it's hard to, again, make a living off of just AdSense revenue from YouTube, because it pays out so very little and it varies on all these factors, and it's like a secret algorithm that nobody knows exactly how it calculates how much money you make. So I think that there are many content creators that feel like they'd rather not have all of their money just be tied to YouTube ads, and that by securing sponsorships, it kind of makes them financially more secure and more able to keep making content that's useful to their audience, and then everybody benefits from that. And I feel like in the beauty community, what's different is that the things that we are creating, like the content that we're making, is directly related to the sponsored brand. So like, for example, with ASMR, if you're sponsored by Audible, the rest of your video has nothing to do with Audible or whether or not Audible is good or bad. You're just kind of like giving Audible a shout out to your audience, and they're giving you money, and then you're getting on your merry way and making your ASMR video. But with beauty, I feel like where it gets a little weird is it's like we are reviewing products, and so to be paid for a review, I think it's just a little bit different, and I understand why people worry about whether or not sponsored reviews are honest or they're true, and as a consumer, can you trust them? And really, in the end, I sort of feel like that's just why we have disclosure. People should be very upfront about it, and then you have the power to make the decision as to whether or not you take that person's review with a grain of salt because you know it's sponsored. So I'd be curious to know what you guys think when it comes to sponsored content, whether or not you feel that it's a good thing, it's a bad thing, if you feel like it's impossible for a beauty blogger to create a sponsored video without being somewhat swayed by the fact that they're being paid to talk about stuff. I personally have really at this point only done a sponsorship with Moda Brushes last month because I was Maven of the Month. That was the first time I was able to do a sponsored video for my channel, but they're a brand that I really like. They're a brand that I had used brushes from for years, and so that was to me something that I had zero problem putting my name on, because it's like I use these brushes all the time, I love them, I'm going to recommend them anyway. And to me it was like, oh hey, this brand wants to appreciate and recognize the fact that I've been putting good energy out there towards them for the last year or two, and give me this opportunity to work with them. So I thought it was a really cool thing. Again, it helps me because I don't really do this full time, and I would love to be able to do it full time, but in order to do that, I think most YouTubers need sponsored videos and or affiliate sales, because AdSense revenue is just, it's really hard to make a livable income from. Again, I feel like I could talk for like hours and hours on this topic, but let us move on to something else. So the next question I have is, what is the hardest thing about being a blogger? That is a good question. I feel like the hardest thing probably about being a blogger is feeling misunderstood by average people, especially in your day-to-day life, because unless you have other friends that do YouTube and understand the world and the amount of time and energy and effort that goes into it, I think it's easy for a lot of people to judge or make assumptions about what it's like and how much time and energy and effort it takes to create content. And it can be challenging. It can be emotionally difficult when you're pouring your heart and soul and time into something, and then people treat it like you're essentially doing nothing. Because YouTube especially is a labor of love. So like, just as an example, I will probably have like at least an hour and a half worth of footage from filming this video to edit. So if I want to sit down and film, I need to set up my lights, set up my equipment, I need to get all of my makeup or the products that I'm going to be talking about, get that all set up. So that can take me 20 minutes or so to do. Then I need to actually sit down and film, which is again could be like an hour, could be an hour and a half. It really kind of depends on what I'm doing. Then I need to import that footage, and then I need to edit it. And for every minute of footage that you filmed, it probably takes you 4 times as much time to at least edit that minute, because you're watching it, you're cutting bits out, you're rewatching it. I probably end up watching like the entire video like at least 4 times by the time that it's totally done and ready to export and then upload to YouTube. And then once you've edited your video and then you export it and then you have to upload it to YouTube. Then you have to fill out your description box. You have to link products. You have to create a thumbnail. So that's usually at least another hour and a half's worth of time to do all of that. And then you need to promote your video on social media and post to Twitter and post to Instagram and share on your Instagram stories, and all of that is even more time. So it's sort of like for one video, it probably takes, let's see, what does that even add up to? It could probably take like, I don't know, a solid 8 hours from start to finish to create a YouTube video, like one single video that ends up being, for me, usually like 25 to 35 minutes, depending on what the video is. And then there's additional time that I'm spending planning, creating content, sitting down and figuring out when I'm going to upload what things. So that's something I definitely spend a couple hours doing, like every week. I try to put down some time every day to work on that kind of stuff. And then on top of that, I have my Instagram account that I'm managing, so I have to find time to take pictures for that and edit it, write captions, upload those, etc. I have my website, my blog. I have blog pictures to take and blog posts to write. You have emails to respond to. You have to manage all your affiliate partnerships and go in and track links and like all those things. It's doing YouTube, like creating content on the internet can so easily be a full-time job because there's just so much that goes into it that I think a lot of people don't think about and don't realize like the amount of time and effort that it actually physically takes. So I think unintentionally some people put energy out there that's kind of like, well, what you're doing is not that hard. Or again, I think when it comes to like sponsorships and whatnot, people that don't feel like YouTubers deserve it, I think maybe just don't fully understand or appreciate how job-like it is to do it well, to actually be good at YouTube and be consistent and make quality content and make it regularly. But yeah, I just think that it's not just having fun playing with makeup and sitting in front of a camera. It's all of the hours you spend learning how to edit videos, learning how to use Photoshop, sitting down and taking notes on products, on researching new launches, on linking things and answering emails and, essentially running a business, because most people, whether it's a hobby or a job to them, like doing this is kind of like being self-employed and running your own business, and it's a lot of work. Now, that's not to say that it's not worth it or that I don't enjoy it, because I actually do like editing. I like taking pictures. I like editing my pictures. I like, I enjoy doing the work. It is kind of fun for me, but that doesn't mean that it's not still effort and energy, So I think that is the other thing that is challenging, is that just because something is fun and you enjoy it doesn't mean that it's not still time consuming or something that you have to make sacrifices for, or that it shouldn't be treated like a job, I feel like I've only been kind of like half paying attention to what the heck I'm doing on my eyes, because I'm just like talking into the abyss, talking to you guys, and I'm just like putting stuff on my face, and hopefully it will end up looking all right in the end. All right, so the final question that I was asked is, what beauty rules do I break? I like this question a lot, actually, because I feel like, all right, so as I mentioned before, I am someone who has been really into beauty for a very, very long time. I'm also not old. I'm almost 32, but like I'm not in my early 20s, so I grew up in a generation where like I lived by Bobbi Brown's Teenage Beauty book. Like, I didn't grow up in an age where there was YouTube and influencers, and I feel like that has really shaped my beauty preferences and the rules that I feel like I tend to follow, because I feel like Instagram has kind of created a new way of thinking and a new almost set of rules for people to follow as far as how the majority of people do their makeup, that in a lot of ways is contrary to like the old school, more natural or minimalistic way of doing things. And I'm an old soul. I've always been kind of an old soul. So I feel like I've never really been one to get super into trendy stuff. Like, I've never really been into like baking or even like the cut creases and like the really drag inspired makeup, which I think is really cool and I respect it. But like for me personally, it's never been something that I've been super duper into or excited by. So I feel like when I think about Instagram makeup and like people that drip oils on their faces and there's all these things that people do to be successful in this industry, I'm kind of like, it's not me. I'm just going to play by my own rules. And if that means that I don't have as many followers, that's just how it's going to be. As far as like traditional beauty rules, like I actually feel like I am fairly traditional as far as how I like to do my makeup. And I think that I don't know, I don't really do anything super out of the ordinary. I don't wear eyeliner a ton, which I feel like is sort of, I don't know, different from a lot of people, especially, again, a lot of other beauty influencers. Everybody's all about that winged eyeliner life, and that's something that I don't do a whole ton of. I like it. I feel like I am capable of doing it if I want to. I don't know. I like the way my eyes look sometimes without it, so I just don't feel pressured to have to do it all the time. I feel like I need glitter. I'm gonna use this glitter that's here in the palette because I feel like this is fun. And I don't know if I've ever actually used this one before. So we're just gonna roll with it. We're gonna go full on glittery glam because why the heck not? But I don't know. I guess to me, my thing is if it works for you, then who am I to judge? Like just because I don't necessarily like using a certain technique doesn't mean that I don't think other people should do whatever techniques work for them. And I feel like some of the conventions that exist just out of years of makeup artists learning what looks good or creates a certain finish and then them kind of sharing that knowledge with the world, and that's why we have the rules we do in the first place. So yeah, I've never really been much of a rule breaker in general in my life. I'm like Chucky from the Rugrats. Oh my god, did you guys ever watch Rugrats growing up? Am I like dating myself right now by saying that? I was a baby of the 90s. I grew up on Nickelodeon, so I very much was Chucky as a kid. I was the one who was always afraid of getting in trouble and trying to encourage my friends to do the right thing and was super, super shy and also kind of really awkward. I didn't have glasses, but I was really, really tall when I was a kid. Actually, weirdly enough, I'm only like 5'4.5" now, but when I was a kid, I was like the tallest kid in my class for like all of elementary school. And then I hit middle school and I stopped growing and everybody else kept going, and that was the end of that. All right, so I'm just going to finish off my look with my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lipstick sample that I got from Sephora with 100 points. I was actually really excited to get to snag this because I always wanted to try this lipstick formula, but it is so insanely expensive. I couldn't really justify it. So this is a great little compromise. All right, guys, so here is the final look that I came up with. I actually think it came out pretty good considering the fact that I was like half blanking out the entire time when it came to my makeup. I feel like I was not really paying attention at all to what I was doing because I was thinking too much about your questions and how I wanted to answer them. I hope I will get better at doing this style of video with practice. Like I'm sure that I will because it definitely is a skill to be able to do two things at the same time. Anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me while I created this look. I hope you enjoyed hearing my answers to your questions. Again, make sure that you are following me on my social media if you want to participate the next time I do this. If you have questions you want me to answer, I want to make sure that you don't miss out. So make sure you're following me over on Instagram. Make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube. That way I will show up in your subscription feed, and when I post on my community tab, you'll be able to see it. And yeah, this was super fun. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys did as well. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. And again, let me know in the comments if you'd like to see me do more of these style videos. If you're down with the series, I always really, really appreciate your feedback. And on that note, I'm gonna let you guys go. I actually am planning on filming my Valentine's Day video right now, and it's gonna be a good one, guys. I'm so excited. I have a really fun tag idea that I'm gonna be doing on Valentine's Day. So, a little sneak peek for you there if you made it all the way to the end of this video. Anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.